All right, let's jump right into a debate that plays out in supplement aisles everywhere. The classic showdown between liquid supplements and good old-fashioned pills. And today, we're zoning in on one of the heavyweights, calcium. You know the feeling, right? You're just standing there staring at this wall of bottles, and every single one is promising you better bone health. But when it comes to calcium, does the form really matter? Is liquid some kind of fast track to absorption, or is a simple pill just as good? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out.
So here's our game plan to cut through all that confusion. We'll start with why calcium is such a big deal in the first place. Then we'll look at the pros and cons for both liquids and pills. After that, we'll get into the actual science of it all so you can figure out which one is truly right for you.
First up, let's talk about the calcium conundrum. Because believe me, this decision is about way more than just bone health. It's actually about fueling some of your body's most basic, most critical functions.
Take a look at this number, 1,200 milligrams. That's the daily calcium goal for a lot of adults. But here's the thing, most of us aren't even getting close to that from our food alone. And that gap, that's exactly why so many of us turn to supplements.
And filling that gap is a huge deal. Yeah, we all know calcium is for strong bones, but it's also a key player in keeping your heart beating steadily, making your muscles contract, and even helping your nerves send signals. So the stakes for picking the right supplement, they're actually a lot higher than you might think. Okay, let's bring in our first contender, liquid calcium. This is often sold as the new modern solution for anyone who is just so over trying to swallow those giant pills. So, the biggest selling point, the one you always hear about, is bioavailability. The idea is, since the calcium is already dissolved, your body can just absorb it, no breakdown required. This can be a total game changer for people with digestive issues. And, of course, it's a huge relief if you have trouble swallowing. Plus, you can measure out a really specific dose, and they often use calcium citrate, which is known for being much gentler on your stomach. But it's not a perfect system. Liquid calcium definitely has its downsides. The second you open that bottle, the clock starts ticking. It has a much shorter shelf life and usually needs refrigeration. That makes it way less convenient for travel. And to make it taste good, manufacturers often have to add sugars or flavorings. The final big one, the price tag. It's almost always more expensive per dose than pills. All right, let's pivot to the other side of the aisle and make the case for pills. This is the tried and true, super convenient, cost-effective workhorse of the supplement world.
The big advantages for pills really just come down to pure practicality. You can pack a high concentration of calcium into one small tablet, which makes them incredibly budget-friendly over the long haul. And their convenience is just unmatched. You can throw them in a bag, they last forever on the shelf, and you don't have to worry about any added sugars.
Of course, pills have their own well-known downsides. I mean, there's a reason we call them horse pills. Their size can be a real problem. They can also cause some unpleasant digestive side effects, especially since they often use calcium carbonate, which really needs a lot of stomach acid to break down. And there's always the small risk that a cheaply made pill just won't dissolve right, meaning you don't get the good stuff inside anyway. So this brings us to the real heart of the issue. The debate isn't just about whether it's a liquid or a solid. It's about the chemistry that's happening inside your body. It really all boils down to this one crucial word, bioavailability. You know, it sounds complicated, but all it really means is how much of the nutrient actually gets into your bloodstream to do its job. A supplement is totally useless if it just passes right through you. So this is the real test of whether it's working.
And this is the big secret. The type of calcium you're taking is often way more important than the form it comes in. You see, calcium citrate, which you find in a lot of liquids, is way easier to absorb. You don't need a lot of stomach acid, so you can take it whenever. But calcium carbonate, the kind usually in pills, contains more actual calcium, but it needs stomach acid to work. That means you have to take it with food. That's a huge difference.
And it's also super important to remember that calcium doesn't work alone. It's not a solo act. To really make sure that calcium gets absorbed and actually makes it to your bones where it belongs, you need its partners. Vitamin D is absolutely essential, and magnesium and vitamin K2 play critical supporting roles too. Okay, let's put all the pieces together. It is time to create your personal scorecard and finally figure out which of these options is the right one for you. You know, when you lay it all out, the choice gets a lot simpler. If you've got digestive issues, you have a hard time swallowing pills, or you need a really specific dose, then yeah, liquid is probably your best bet. But if you have a crazy on-the-go lifestyle, if budget is your #1 priority, or if you just want to avoid any extra sugars and flavors, then pills are the clear winner.
But if you only remember one single thing from all of this, please let it be this. Bone health is a marathon, not a sprint. The fanciest, most expensive supplement in the world does absolutely nothing if it's just sitting in your cabinet. Consistency is truly everything. So you see, there is no single champion in the great calcium showdown. The best choice is deeply personal. It's really just a trade-off between these three things: absorption, convenience, and cost. So now that you have the facts, the ball's in your court. Based on your body, your lifestyle, and your wallet, which one comes out on top? Are you on Team Liquid or are you on Team Pill? Now, this was just the quick rundown, but if you're ready to really dig into the science and get all the nitty-gritty details, you can get the full in-depth guide from the original blog post. Just click that link right below in the description to learn more. Thanks for watching.